they are concerned only about this. So whatever you say, they will never receive that. Right. So what I feel what brands need to do right now is just hold their communication and be there. And what you're talking about is should be done in the second phase when customers want to let out and they are comfortable and they move from 90 to they bring it down to 50 when they're looking when they see that okay everything is now becoming normal no and that's when you find that they become sensitive to what you're saying. But right now, it's all about themselves, right? It's all about themselves. It's all about their community. And if the relevance, yeah, you can bring relevance, but more than bringing relevance, I would want you to speak nothing. Just watch. Yeah, just be.
Oh, great. Thanks, Nasiha, for that point. I think it make it clear. So shall we move ahead to the next one? Okay, Doctor, can you see the slide?
Yeah. So I was see the reason why I was telling the earlier. I mean, Nafisa, Nasiha was that. See, when will someone speak? When will someone listen? Yeah, someone would listen to you unless someone will listen to you till they feel that I have trust over you, I have confidence over what you're saying. That's the time when they would want to invest on listening to you. The customers don't have that. You understand? Now that's the reason why I would want you not to say anything. The next slide, yeah, the next slide will explain more because Anish, the next slide, the next slide,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now look at this. Forrester says that 72% of the respondents are only following coronavirus related news. So what are you saying? Yeah, and more than 50% actually fall into the bracket of extremely closely category. So all that they're listening to is what's happening here, what's happening there, relating to what? Relating to the virus. And then if I'm a firm or if I'm a retailer, if I'm belonging to hospitality, if I'm belonging to any textile, yeah, the customers are not listening to me. They're not ready to listen to me right now. Yeah, because this is what the statistics say. Now, what do you have to do for it? Now, look at an advertisement. If you see a communication where I see Lifebuoy saying, please wash your hands, and I am Lifebuoy, and Lifebuoy saying, please wash your hands, whichever soap you feel like washing with. Yeah, you see that the highlighting thing here would be taking care of your health and not trying to sell or my idea to you. Yeah, that I'm Lifebuoy. So any kind of a branding exercise will not work here, but yeah, like my earlier participant was saying the empathy. Yes, empathy will work. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the next slide, please.
One moment. There you go.
Public health. Anything relating to health will work. Yeah. Next slide. Now, so this is what customers feel. If a question is asked, like PwC asks a question like, where do you go out? What is it that you are sensitive about? Okay, during the COVID times, 49% of customers said or respondents said that they don't want to leave their homes. 50% people said that they are working from home partially or entirely. 42% they avoid transportation. Now, this is how people are feeling right now. Yeah. So anything which concerns with these will not work here in your communication. Yeah, next slide, please. Relating to finance will not work. Next slide, please. Now look at this. The cost of the crisis which hits us goes like this. 78% of the people feel that it is going to hit my economic cost. 71% of people feel that it's going to hit my human cost. So majority of the concern that lies will be around health and economy or my economics.
So when you mentioned that finance thing would not work, can you clarify that a bit?
I said finance thing will work. So anything
Will work.
about
Okay. I'm
finance,
sorry.
anything about health will work. So when you're communicating to your client, anything which provides a solution to my finance, anything that provides solution to my health concern will work at these times.
So you're getting closer into that empathy part, right? So saying that these are tricks to get connect to that, like, and Nasiha's point about personalization. So finance is a good bet to kind of get more closer to personalization.
Yeah,
Right?
because you see that all the communication, or like I said, the 90-10, the 90 is around this 90, they're not sure whether the employment is safe or the employment is secured. 90, they're not sure whether they're going to be paid this month. Yeah, or 90, they're not sure whether they're going to get infected or not. 90, they're not sure if I go out and buy grocery, I'm going to get infected or not. Yeah, so this is where the venting is happening. Yeah, so if at all you want to personalize now and start talking to them, personalize around these, around health and around finance, which is like, you know, if they
That's
are
going to be on the they'll be eager to listen to
eager
what
to
we have to
listen
say.
about
Yeah.
finance and what you're going to my health concern.
Wonderful.
Meaning that if the business of business is around this, it'll work. If your business is around public health, if your business is around finance, it'll work. Now, how do we match? How do we align, like you said, around that? Because probably your core may not be that. The purpose may not be that. But how is what is going to come? How are you going to deliver that? And see how you can maybe match these two spaces that are there, which is vulnerable.
I think typically from our listeners' perspective, I think it would work. This might take. I guess we'll take some queries from the chat box. See, IT transformations are what most of the clients or IT companies here across Kerala would be helping their end clients, right? Whether it is some bit, whether it's IT or ITS. That means there is a direct link to the financial model and the business success of that organization.
Absolutely.
It will be very easy
Absolutely.
for that piece to get connected.
See,
the hard disk
Okay, we have somebody else who's unmuted. Requesting all the attendees to be on mute mode unless you have a question coming up. In that case, please send a message on the chat, and then I'll open up, or you can unmute yourself to do this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anish,
Doctor, shall we move to the next?
Hold.
Yes.
Just a moment. Anish, I would like to add something here.
Sure.
See, I was telling the other day when I was speaking to a few business owners that when they were expressing their concern, Anish, all the businesses are shut down. It's not that you and I are only ones who are affected. Everybody is undergoing this particular crisis, right? So, that is a bad news and a good news. You understand? So I don't have a competition here. Everybody is sailing in the same boat. So what we need to do right now is innovate, and what we need to begin with is innovate in our communication. Yeah, we start with communication. We start by talking to our customers. Yeah, after we actually, like I said, a customer reaches a point where he's ready to listen to you. Yeah, the customer has to be receptive enough. Otherwise, all our messages are getting lost. That's the point. Yeah. Moving to the next slide. How do we do that? Marketing. Marketing is truly a force, and communication is the key. Now, the challenge that we find in businesses is that whenever we are in crisis, we always try to cut our marketing cost. Yeah. But what we need to be doing instead is invest more on marketing and reaching out to our customers. What does that mean? Can we move to the next slide?
Yes.
We do that by observing. Yeah. what are we going to observe? We're going to observe all these signals that we see around us. The best is social media, because what we see is everybody is moving digital only, right? So there's a lot of conversation which is happening there, and everybody is there venting out. It's talking about Instagram or Twitter. We'll see a lot of emotions which are getting vented. So we'll try to get our signals by observing those kind of conversation. We will have our own conclusions made, and then we will be able to decide which is the right action to be taken then. So we always begin with wait and watch. We always begin by observing what's happening, and where is it that we can bring an alignment between what our core is and how people are feeling right now. And I'm sure that we will be able to do it if we think about the way to innovate ourselves. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can we take maybe an example from a very simple situation that and explain this concept? I know this is and you've depicted it really well in these 3 boxes. Can we take?
Listen, I will take a very live example from my own life. Yeah, okay. I am based out of I'm based out of Hyderabad, but my family is in Cochin. Yeah, so I have actually quoted this examples in a lot of places, because I feel that this particular incident has changed the way in which I look at communication now. Yeah. Yeah, so when I was in Hyderabad, I used to have one taxi driver who always used to help me travel from my apartment to the airport. Okay. And he used to drop me back to the apartment when I'm on my return. Now, what the time that I used to spend with that driver used to be roughly an hour or so, and there never used to be any conversation happening between us except for Sharnappa airport aa gaya kya, Sharnappa apartment aa gaya kya, etc. And when is the next time I will be traveling with him, and nothing else. Yeah. Before the lockdown, I happened to travel Kerala, and then since then I'm here. I'm stuck. Last week, Sharnappa, and I have not been using Sharnappa's services since then.
You've been here
Sharnappa
for almost,
has nothing to do with me since then. Yeah. So because of the lockdown. Now, last week, Sharnappa called up and asked me if there's anything that Sharnappa can do for me, because he's around my catchment and he's got some grocery. Would you want to deliver that to my home?
Oh, wow.
I mean, that is going to be a cornfield experience for me, So how are we going to identify those moments in our customers' lives? Now, that's the observation I'm talking about. But in order to do that, like we have our earlier friend saying, empathy.
Yes.
Yeah, empathy. Let's not communicate empathy now through our messages. Let's communicate empathy by being with our client and understanding the challenges, the problems, the concerns that the customer is having by listening to them. And once we conclude, right, and we have that Sharnappa picking up his phone and calling me up. And Anish, the beauty of this whole event or the story narrative is that I ended up talking to Sharnappa for the next 15-20 minutes, asking how Sharnappa is and how many members are there in Sharnappa's family and what are kids doing. Yeah, and Sharnappa asking me in return what is happening in my life, which I have not done for the last 8 or 10 months, having traveled with him every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks for an hour.
Wow, this brings a lot of different thoughts to my mind. Let me take one of them, and then is our education, right? Is it preventing us from maybe like Naseefa said earlier, putting a face for the benefit of this thing and saying that, okay, we are caring when actually we are not. Whereas here, your example, Sharnappa has obviously he's been observing you and he's been kind of connected in a manner, and he knows where you stay, and then because he's coming into that area and she's connected with the situation that, okay, it's a thing, there is a chance that if madam is here, she may have a need for provisions. Let me check, right? So my question is it in your experience, you've been an educator as well. Has education become a hurdle, or will it become a hurdle in empathy, or taking empathy to a deeper level? What's your take?
What I feel is probably that is where we lack, because education, what are we supposed to educate our kids about? How to be empathetic, how to be compassionate, how to be authentic. Yeah, which how, if you look at the syllabus that we have, do we have these kind of things being taught at schools right now? Yeah, I feel that the schools are not teaching what they're supposed to teach. How many of the schools, I mean, I'm seeing my son's syllabus, he doesn't have even soft skills being taught. Yeah, except for some personality development sessions they might have. Apart from that, all that they teach is science and math. Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
to communicate science and math, they need to have these qualities, these virtues in them, which I feel, are very, very important.
Okay, linking it back. So
Yeah.
there will be a lot of maybe marketing and other subjects or communication related inputs that we have got as entrepreneurs in the past, which is preventing them or us to reach out and actually purely connect in a genuine and empathetic fashion. Do you think that can happen, or that can prevent real empathy from occurring?
Let me explain it this way. See, for the last, I feel 150 years, we have been talking about marketing. Yeah, but what we actually practice in our businesses is sales.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, marketing is not sales. Yeah, or I feel, as Peter Drucker says, that marketing is more important than sales. And if marketing is strong, if we use marketing the way it is supposed to be used, sales has no role to play. Because there will be a lot of inbound sales which automatically happens because our marketing is strong. Because our marketing.
So the pull happens. So you don't really need to push by
at all.
adding.
At all.
Yeah.
No.
So if you do your research
yeah, I feel that during these times, troubled times, we have to be doing more of marketing. Yeah, and the customer should feel, like I said, the confidence should be there, the comfort should be there for customers to call up when they want to call.
Okay, great. So let's, or we'll move ahead.
Yeah, we'll move to the next.
Okay, there you are.
See, this is a very interesting snippet which I read in, about Putting, where we always find that Putting, comes up with such wonderful visuals where he's saying, I have done, if you read what is written alongside, so after descending to a depth of around 7 feet, the Russian strongmen then spotted something apparently everyone else failed to notice for centuries. Yeah, and he's showing this vase. Yeah, and then here in the next visual, so you find that Putting always displays such gestures, and he always, and if you see the next slide, you'll find that ultimately what does he want to do? Yeah, and he wants it for life. Where he's already been there for more than years now. It's like I think 14-15 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's continuing to do so. So there's a lot of pull that you see what Putting actually does. The next slide. Yeah. So what should be the right message during these times? That's the question. The right message should not be about the product. The right message should not be about the service. The right message should not be about you at all. The right message should be about the finance, the public health, the solutions that you want to provide, the problems that you, from your observation, you've realized what the people are experiencing now. How is it that you can participate? It's like Zomato or Swiggy telling. That listen, if you want to buy something, I'm here, right? And also talking to their community that if you want to sell something, I'm here. So I am the connect now. All right, I can connect people. I am creating. as a provider, an ecosystem, right? I'm building an ecosystem here where all of us can help each other. The customers getting benefited and the providers getting benefited through me, because I'm now here trying to build an ecosystem for you. So that is the message which should be going, instead of my service, my product, what I'm providing here. Yeah, I have seen advertisements, still advertisement which says that, listen, now it's COVID time, and this is how my process has been aligned to making my product safe for you. Now, who's bothered about your product? Who's talking about me? Yeah. So can you, like, you know what Copyco does? Like, can you provide me something free? Can you give me a coffee beverage free? Can you provide such beverage to the hospital staff free? Because you feel that you have a responsibility, right? And you have it. You are in that business. Why don't you do that? Now that is the kind of message which should be going to people who are now gradually moving into 50-50 or 70-30. Trying to participate in an ecosystem, trying to be, building that ecosystem, and making it easy for the customer to pass over this COVID stage, because this is it. I mean, people are active.
Yeah, please continue. I think that's somebody else not finding that it's not in
Yeah.
mute.
Yeah, so I feel that firms like yours, group of technology firms, I feel you can also play a role in building this ecosystem. Don't you agree with me, Anish? Right?
Yes,
Instead
I
of
think.
talking about solutions that your products can offer, can you be more broader, more macro, and look at the ecosystem in which you are participating, and see how you can help everybody who is in the chain.
Yeah. In fact, GTech has been taking steps from its inception around these areas to enable the ecosystem in Kerala to support IT companies, especially the small and medium ones. So from the time of the start. So I think a great point that you brought us to. Shall we move ahead?
Yeah, please.
Here we go.
So see, if you look at the customer's journey right now, right, there is no multi-channel here. There's only a single channel, which is a digital channel. Right. Having said that, what should be the satisfaction metrics here? Now, there is I should say that it's ironical when I say satisfaction metrics, because customers are not buying anything except for essentials right now. Yeah. So what is the satisfaction metrics that we should be using? Yeah. At during this particular time. Next slide, please.
Here you go.
The satisfaction metrics that people generally use in businesses are NPS, CSAT, or CES. I mean, the Net Promoter Score, the customer satisfaction metric, and the customer effort, score. If you look at CSAT, okay, leave aside NPS because I'm going to come back to it. If you satisfaction score, it would be asking the customer that how good was your service, how good was your product, how good was your past experience with us, right? But if you look at what's happening right now, the customers are not buying anything, so you actually cannot use this particular metric. Yeah. The next metric is customer effort metrics, where you're asking the customer, how easy was it to buy this product from us? But again, the customer is not buying anything right now. So the only metric that you can use right now is the NPS, which is the Net Promoter Score. Yeah, where you're asking one key question to the customer. Next slide, please. We are asking this particular question to the customer, that how likely are you to actually recommend my product to others? And when would someone recommend the product to others? Only when they are satisfied. So it's actually giving me an answer to how satisfied you are, but also confident on your reputation, because I want to recommend you to others as well. Yeah. Here the metric says that less than 6 would actually become a detractor. And between 7 and 8, we call them passives, because they are not they're happy, but they don't want to recommend you to anybody, right? And the last 2, which is the 9 and 10, are the promoters, who are very, very happy with how you have been with them, right? Product wise and process wise, and they want to recommend you too. right? So the more promoters you have is good for the company, but the less detractors you have is also good for your company. And how do you calculate a score? You calculate by measuring their percentage and then deducting, right? So if I have 90 as promoters and 10 as detractors, so 90 minus 10, 80 is my net promoter score. Yeah, so this is what we can do right now. We can use this particular tool and understand how people are feeling, right? But the disadvantage of this particular tool is that you won't know why.
Oh, yes.
Right, because I'm just saying yes or no. All right, so that why answer can come only when you're asking further, questions, which comes as a part of CSAT, which is customer satisfaction. People have time now. You also have time now, right? So customer satisfaction score can come next when we focus on the detractor and say what happened, what went wrong here. Meaning, the time that you have to be spending on now would be track them, speak to them, find out what happened, and why do they feel so, and what should we be doing. What should we be doing will actually come from customer effort score. Yeah, where I'm asking customers how easy was it. But the challenge here is it's more process focused and not people focused.
Oh, the CES you're saying.
Yeah, the CES is more about the process and not about the people. But the people are above the process, right? So you can use that. You can use that. It'll definitely help you improve your processes. But today's times, it's all about people. It's more about people.
Much more about people.
Much more about people. So it's good to use first NPS, then slightly move into CSAT, and then CES, and see how things are working out for you. So these are the 3 success metrics or satisfaction metrics which you can use. I feel NPS would be the metric that you can use with your clients right now and understand them more. And see how post lockdown you can act differently, because you got to act differently.
Okay. So I want to bring in one aspect when you say about promoters here. And you mentioned that internet is the only thing, or digital is the only thing that is going to enable a lot of our communication as a company. Now, I think it's an advantage that the promotions, if they are more of promoters, that means somebody who's satisfied with my service will usually recommend me on the internet as well through some of their own platforms. Right? So that is going to really help us, or as companies or entrepreneurs, prevent a lot of spending on marketing and other stuff that we otherwise would have done at this time. Right? Is there a connection like that?
Absolutely. I'll explain to you further. Now, take a scenario where, everybody, like I said, everybody is now locked down. Everybody is working from home. Yeah, and as entrepreneurs, all our employees are at home and they are trying to work from home. Now, if I have an issue like I had yesterday, where my network was down, and I called them and I was talking to them, and it was a telephonic conversation that we had. Now, imagine if that call center employee did a video call with me and bring in a human element in this remote servicing that is happening. Yeah. That is just walking an extra mile for your customer. I would have felt more human. I would have been, I would have been more maybe, expressive in what my challenge is, and I would have felt better in that experience. Absolutely. In that experience that we are talking about here, right? So how is it that you can innovate? How is it that you can innovate your processes? How is it that you can make people, employ that cornfield moment, right, in their interactions with customers? And that's when you find that particular customer becomes your promoter. Yeah, and starts talking about you, bringing more business for you without you putting any effort. Yes. So he becomes a promoter. Now look at this, Anish, look at this. Once the lockdown is over, yeah, and all these days that we have lockdown, you have building promoters. Yeah, using tactics like this, where you are focusing on making the customer experience more and more human and exciting, right? Unlike what others are doing right now, you're making yourself different. Yeah, what will happen is post lockdown, which is the roadmap I'm talking about. Post lockdown, you'll find that the references happen. You'll find that they become your advocates, right? And yeah, and they know that this is the time that everything is business is coming back to usual, and I want to do this for you because you have done so well for me, and the reciprocity comes in, and loyalty begets loyalty.
And interestingly, I'd like to bring one point here: reciprocity. That reciprocity about the depth of that is actually proven by evolutionary biology as well. So it says that human brains are wired to reciprocate. Imagine the depth you can go if you do this genuinely, as you mentioned, the empathy, connect in the true sense, and then you end up creating promoters during this time. I mean, you're initiating it yourself. You're not waiting for them to, or customers to complain on others. You keep listening to them. So I think it's that is another factor that the brain science also supports it.
Yeah, thanks, Anish. Thanks. That's it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We'll come to
So
the next one.
finally, what is the way ahead? Way ahead would be, as our friend mentioned, empathy, compassion, authenticity, genuinity in all our interactions right now. Because, like I said, like my Sharnappa, right? Him calling me right now when I have all the time, right? And bringing that connect with me, and we having a conversation for like 15 to 20 to half an hour, right? And we getting to know each other post COVID. When I go back to Hyderabad, why should I think of anybody else but Sharnappa?
And you will even recommend,
Yeah, I
I'm
will
sure.
Sharnappa too. Now, Anish, what is interesting here is, see, I have Uber. All right, I have all kinds of the best providers over there, but I don't have Sharnappa with them. You understand? So that is where I said people above processes. Yeah, make our employees comfortable now. And see, now if I had done what I mentioned about the network, the issue that happened yesterday, and if the call center executive had used a video call and spoken to me and bring that human element in the interaction, what will happen is the employees will feel empowered. Employees will also feel as if they are doing something during COVID times, and they would be and you would also feel like paying them more for what they're doing. You understand? So I feel such actions, so like the farmer, what are you doing, right? Extra during these times to your customer will actually outlast any COVID, right? And will bring better and more growth. Let me give you another insight here, Anish, that research says that, Bain and Company actually said that, if we use NPS metrics during tough times, we are going to end up getting more growth. Why? I mean, it's quite natural. See, it's apparent that we see that we will be building on promoters, and we will be reducing the detractors, and we will make use of passives. The shift. I mean, see, if we have 10 customers and we find that 6 of them are detractors, and we are now trying to communicate with detractors, how observing, concluding, interacting with them more, and trying to see how we can walk an extra mile, and then they automatically shift to becoming a promoter for us.
Correct.
So that should be the roadmap. How can you enrich the customer's experience and build more and more promoters during this time so that business outlasts COVID?
Wonderful. I think we will wait to see if there are some questions around this and come to the concluding part. We are closing up on our time. Let's see. Questions. Okay. I don't see anyone writing any questions yet. Vishnu, did you get any questions? Anything that you need to cover before we wind up?
Yeah, Anish, the questions which I received, I already shared to you. So I
Okay.
hope it will be covered.
Yeah, that those areas we've covered, and I think I would say, to summarize, you're looking at bringing empathy and the way, doctor, you mentioned about reaching out, and rather than waiting for customers to reach out to you and ask for something, starting off with listening. And then one of the things that I really liked where you said people above process, and those examples, that very, very humane examples, doctor, thanks for that. And this is quite, you made it look very, or sound very, very positive, and the ball is back on the entrepreneur's court, I would say.
Yeah.
And thanks for that. And the visuals that you've used, starting from the cornfield, would really, really stay with I'm sure, the attendees. And then, okay, Nasiha has a point. Time to educate customers rather than selling to them, sending them material of value to be appreciated. To explain this, when we were both chatting, you were mentioning about an approach, right, Professor, Doctor, when you said, look, I told you so, kind of a thing. I don't know if I'm getting it correctly, but I get you explain that, and then we'll close.
Yeah. See, since we are all dealing with technology and technology businesses, what normally happens, what we think that the right sales pitch at these times for our clients would be, especially those who are not transformed digitally, would be telling them, look, I told you so. Right. But how do you communicate that, look, I told you so? Because you don't want to appear very arrogant that times, because nobody wants to deal with an arrogant vendor, or a supplier. So how you can smartly say probably that, look, I told you so, is telling them that, yeah, this has happened. Yeah, it's a fact. That's the reality now. But what is it that we can do right now, as soon as possible, so that the next time it happens, we don't get hurt the way we are hurt already. You understand? So when we say that, the message gets communicated that we are hurt right now because we have not done what we are supposed to do, right? And let's do this now, because otherwise what will happen is, when it happens the next time, we will not be able to.
Yes.
So that this is what is the message that has to go to those who are laggards, those who have not yet digitally transformed. Yeah, to communicate that. See, when it happens next time, it should not hurt as much as it has hurt us today. What now? When we are talking about this particular theme right now, the relevance of this theme is there in this particular message that I said, where when it happens again. When it happens again, we should be prepared. We should be ready already. We should not wait for something like this to happen, a crisis to happen. Then be reactive to it. So how can we take a proactive measures so that we're prepared always for all kinds of crises? Yeah. So how are we going to have a business plan continuity? Yeah. So that is what is very, very important here.
Wonderful. Yeah, it was thanks to Nasiha that educate customer part is what reminded me about our chat. So thanks, Nasiha, for bringing that up. Any concluding remarks from you, Doctor? Or else we'll really have Vishnu, if you have any other points, and then we'll wind up.
Anish, another point which I want to add here is, please, as businesses, what we need to understand is the power of this particular moment that we have.
The power of.
You understand? the power of this particular moment that we have. Meaning, we have nobody who is, except for a few industries, everybody is impacted. All right, everybody is impacted and everybody is affected by this particular crisis. Yeah, and it is, customers are wanting to hear something which is relating to their life, because their lives and livelihood are affected by this. Yeah, so this is the time when business has to come as a force. All right, and try to protect, safeguard, and help people. And whoever does this best and whoever does this early are actually going to become the winner.
Wonderful. Very beautifully put in, and I would like to thank you for taking time out for us. And we are running out of time, so and your passion for marketing and bringing communication as a lead role into marketing and connecting to business results is very evident. We hope we'll be able to reconnect and get into more depth on some of those areas in maybe future sessions. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Bindu, for,
Thank you. Thank you, G-Tech.
Thank you, G-Tech, and thanks to all our participants. And then, of course, Doctor, we will be in touch. I'm really excited about some of those things, and especially the because I'm not a marketing or person, although I've now started another company now with a set of two of my marketing and HR, marketing and sales batchmates. So I'm getting to learn a lot of things from them. But this is very exciting to see the common space between, especially the brain area and all. So very, very excited. Thanks for taking time out once again. Really, really appreciate the preparation that you've made and the simple manner in which you've explained some of the complex concepts on communication, taking very, very live examples to us. Thank you all, and thanks once again for joining us. Look forward to catching up soon another